Hello everybody, this is JP3 here bringing you our second mission in the Halo 4 Legendary Deathless playthrough, Designate Requiem. I'm really excited to do this commentary because Requiem is one of my favorite missions in the Halo 4 campaign. I think it does an absolutely excellent job in introducing you to the various elements of the gameplay that we would see in Halo 4. Not only just the gameplay, but the art designs, the weapons, just the general aesthetic overall. I think this is really I don't even know if you could call it underrated. I do feel like that people that have come around to enjoying Halo 4, or maybe perhaps enjoyed it from the get-go, find this to be one of the gems in this campaign.
How many ships made it through the roof?
Plenty. Why?
We still need a ride home.
So notice how right off the bat in the wreckage I head straight towards this sniper rifle like I knew exactly where it was at. That's because I knew exactly where it was at. Maybe Chief wouldn't have known exactly where it was at, but I knew exactly where it was at, and I think it provides us a great help in the upcoming first section, especially on Legendary difficulty, where in Halo 4, as in most Halos, shooting things from range is quite important.
Covenant.
So I don't want to talk too much during the big reveal here. I think this is one of the most special moments in Halo history right here. I mean, no matter what you think of this game, its art design, the fact that Marty O'Donnell is not scoring the music, I think that was really special, and it's one of my favorite memories from when I first played this game.
Still in one piece.
And a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people, but I've heard people complain about the vehicle sections in this game and use this section as an example of it being too linear, perhaps boring, but in all reality, this section here is designed to continue forth with story elements that are important, but most importantly from a gameplay perspective, this is simply Warthog training. And I don't know of a better way they could have pulled that off than the way that you're seeing now. In terms of the art design, the setting here, going through all of the wreckage of these crashed spacecraft, I think that this is as good a way to start us off with this vehicle as there can be, really. Unfortunately, however, unless you're playing co-op, having the Warthog and its chain gun is not exactly the biggest of advantages. As you'll see fairly quickly, we'll use it to get around a little bit, but ultimately most of the combat we'll be engaging in, which will start right about now, will have to be on foot. I try to find the grunt as soon as possible that's holding the fuel rod and get rid of him, and then I go for the elite because I think he's most likely to try and I guess cause trouble if when I decide to move forward here. But again here, just using the battle rifle and the sniper rifle to take things out from range. Very important that you take out this beam rifle jackal, sniper jackal, if you will, as we talked about in Dawn with its one jackal sniper. These guys can't one-shot kill you, but they can one-shot de-shield you, and I don't know how much, if any, more damage you can take after they shoot you. And if you've already taken some damage, at some point, very much into that damage you've taken, you can be one-hit kill. I don't know how much has to be off of your shield, but I know it's not a lot at all. So you definitely want to prioritize the jackal snipers, as I've done there. Prioritized a couple of enemies that I saw, but looking for the fuel rod grunts, those are really important. We get a nice triple kill there. And so just taking things out and just using all the ammunition from that sniper rifle, because there are two beam rifles that we can pick up for this section and the next, as you saw with the snipers that we were able to shoot. Headshot bullet magnetism in this game is really strong, but your weapons overall are very weak against these enemies. Not a big surprise there, but as you saw there, had to hit that grunt several times. For some stupid, idiotic reason, he just kept walking the same way. I mean, turning around and firing at me, running away. Anything would have been better than, I think, just walking away like a moron, but, you know, it's not all perfect. Sniping from these sniper towers is almost impossible. Sometimes getting up into them can be tricky because of the way that gravity thing works, so just be wary of that. Just walk into that gravity thing, don't jump into it, or you'll be stuck there for a little bit.
Chief, several patrols just reported in outside that structure over the ridge. It's possible they're onto something.
Come up into this tower here and grab this beam rifle, which has 9 shots in it. A little bit better than the last one. Fill up carbine there. And here's one of the first major troll areas of Halo 4. Not a lot of them in this game, but 2 of those guys can have fuel rods, and they fire them very fast in terms of, you know, relative to when they see you, and the projectile moves really fast when they fire it on legendary difficulty. So you want to be very careful of that. If you prefer to have a fuel rod in your hand as opposed to the carbine and or the beam rifle, then have at it. I've not had nearly as much luck using the fuel rod in this game than I have in other ones. So I like to go ahead and snipe that shield jackal that's just sitting there on that ridge, and then if I can get this guy coming down that little straightaway there, I do. I almost always forget about the beam rifle jackal. He can down me there. It's not like I forget about him because he's unimportant, but I definitely don't apparently prioritize him the way I should. And I thought that was the shot there, but it wasn't, so I just spammed the carbine until he's dead. So we have another grunt with a fuel rod, and we have an elite over there with a concussion rifle, and then we've got a mixture of jackals and grunts, some of which have fuel rods to the right and to the left. Because I don't generally like skipping anything, I'm going to try to kill I'm going to try to kill all of them, and I'm going to focus on the center first because that's where our main initial threats are. So we've got some jackals here that are coming up. Was able to get a stick on that guy, which is hard to do in Halo 4 because just for whatever reason, grenade throwing just isn't as easy in this game. Now we've got us an elite ultra warrior dude that takes like 4 or 5 shots to kill with a sniper rifle, but you know, with the use of the carbine and the headshots there, we're able to take him down without too much fanfare. And so now we're at the point where we've got, again, jackals with shields over here. We have 2 on each side, and then you have an assortment of grunts. I think it's relatively random, but on legendary difficulty, it seems like at least on one side, there's always going to be one grunt with a fuel rod. So just kind of keep your head down until you spot and shoot that guy. Here's that guy, and that guy is dead. Yeah, so I'm going to take out these grunts, jumping here because when they first shoot, they'll shoot into the air and I'll fall down, and you know, the jumping isn't as floaty post Halo 3, so you know, that's one of the cool things there. And so, but we were able to stick that guy, believe it or not, and so now we're just up here. We get shot a little bit by this jackal who kind of shot me as I was just, you know, being ultra careful. I wanted to see if the grunt there, who's just walking away again, sure, I could have shot him dead, but I just didn't want to. But I wanted to see if either of those grunts had a fuel rod, although it seems like the fuel rod guys never quite make it up here. Maybe that's because I prioritize them so much on the ground. Now, one of the things I forget all the time when I play Reach or Halo 4 or I guess Halo 5, even though I don't really play that game very often. I always forget on Legendary that, you know, grenades, when you stick them, stick the elites, they just aren't hard pings anymore on most all elites. And so, you know, I stick that guy there like I would on heroic difficulty and didn't think to follow up with a headshot, or maybe just, you know, not stick him at all. You know, I don't know, spam something at him until he dies. Because again, I think 343 forgot that, you know, throwing, you know, sticky grenades, especially with the dodging and the awareness capabilities of enemies on Legendary, are very hard to. It's very hard to land that stick. So, but there's plenty of other. Well, there's mainly just one other hard ping available to you, and that's the headshot. So, I think we used that as we kind of gunned him down or whatever when he was walking away, and then we had the grunts, one of which tried to suicide us. So we just shot everybody, and now we're here into the cartographer room. And you know, graphically, one of the better rooms. I think, in Halo history. Just, you know, very pretty, very interesting, mysterious. Brings back a little bit of that same feeling that Combat Evolved did when going through its Forerunner structures, especially early on in that campaign.
A console in the back. It's a localized site cartographer. Okay. In service of Forerunner Shield World, designate Requiem.
Requiem? At least we know where we are now.
Let's see if it can tell us what the Covenant are so interested in.
Alright, quickly out of that forced cutscene, and now we have to find two power things that kind of work in parallel of some sort and such and another. And so I like to go to the left side if I'm coming away from the cartographer and going backwards. Always like to go left here. You can go whichever way you want, but if you know, have had trouble with this, I like to go left, and then I like to jump back up here instead of letting this thing fall. It allows you to remain, or to keep the high ground when dealing with the enemies that are going to be spawning out of these side areas here. And so I'm going to probably put the beam rifle down pretty fast. I brought it with me just in case I was, you know, able to do some pretty decent work with it. There is plenty of carbine and plenty of needler in this room. And so, as a result, I'm not too afraid at all to bring a weapon that's not normally in this room in here, just in case I find a use for it. Notice how I use the active camo here to kind of throw the elite off just enough to get close enough to get that red reticle needler on him, and then he's done for pretty fast once he gets ready to throw that grenade. I don't know if I mentioned. I did mention that in Dawn. I want to mention it here. One of the best ways to defeat elites in this game is to get in mid-range combat with them. Unless they have a really devastating weapon, which makes it hard to get into medium range with them, they will almost always that'll almost always be your best bet, because they will throw a grenade on legendary difficulty like the catch skulls on. And unlike in every other Halo prior to this, all elites throw grenades, at least almost all of them do, especially the ones you'll be facing in Halo 4. And so I don't know what the hell's up with that jackal, but or my shooting, but you know, you want them to throw that grenade, and whenever they do that, you can either, if you haven't already de-shielded them, then de-shield them then with a plasma weapon, needler them, which will kill them with just one gun, and of course you can do the de-shielding and headshot thing, usually before their animation finishes, or at least as it's finishing, but before they're firing at you. And of course the grenades don't come like fastballs, thankfully, and so you can steer clear of them pretty fast. Or steer clear of them pretty quickly or easily. Either way. Either way it'll do. So we've got a couple of grunts here with needlers, which make them scarier than this guy, but we're going to go ahead and take care of him anyway. Yeah. So yeah, we've got two guys with needlers, so I was being ultra careful there. Maybe even a little risky. You can usually hear the needles pop, and it like takes 5 seconds for them to pop out of you, so you definitely don't want to let them pile up. I don't know how many it takes exactly, but I'm just going to go with the conservative 6 to 8. Conservative to liberal, I guess. 6 to 8 needles to super combat. I'm going to think, I want to say 8, but always best to be careful there. So we're going to come over here and we're going to take care of the two elites here by going into camo. And, well, if we were on any other difficulty, I'd tell you to try to stick them. But here, let's just let him load up a grenade and then take him out here with the needler. Now, this guy smartly, very intelligently runs away from us as soon as we de-shield him and runs behind that post over there. So I'm going to try to get a stick on him or get some damage. Don't really know. I guess that worked to stick him. And
That's it. Now quick, to the cartographer.
Let's go and... Yeah, I wanted to collect a little bit of ammunition here for the next section, which is, it's good to have a full carbine at least for the next section here. You won't have a chance to go and scavenge this area after this cutscene. Very important to keep that in mind.
Let's get to that terminal.
Those are hard light shields. I tend to like the camo throughout, but if you prefer the hard light shield, then certainly feel free. The main thing you want to watch out for here is this grunt on this turret. It's good to use camo while you're shooting at him. He will shoot very accurate and can chew you up very fast, just like in Halo Reach and in Halo 2 and 3 with, pretty much all the turrets, especially the small ones there. That guy you don't have to shoot. I get a luck shot here and I'm able to take him out after a while. There, yeah.
Scouts. Fortifying the bridge below.
For some reason, the developers, I think, wanted you to get on this elevator. That's a terrible idea on Legendary, probably even on Heroic, and for all I know, even on Normal. Because as it lowers, the enemies all just take shots at you, and of course, there's no cover. If you fall down too far, I think you get injured, I'm pretty sure, in this game. If not dead. So it's best just to hang out up here and shoot everything from range until this dude's invincible. But yeah, until you've at least had the majority, if not all, of the enemies that still are alive fall back a little bit further. And then you can ride this thing down. I don't know how much fall damage you take, if any at all, if you fell off of there. So as I move up again, trying to stay with what I think is the really good combination throughout this level, maybe throughout the campaign when, if you're having trouble, the default being a needler and a headshot weapon. Working pretty well here. Of course, for the elites, if you really prefer, you can... I certainly meant for that to be a sticky, but I accidentally picked up a frag grenade over there. Best just to toss it over the edge, that way you don't accidentally throw it. So again, same thing here. Got to focus on that grunt. You can go into camo if you need it. Just make sure you watch out for enemies here. You don't want them to sneak up on you, although they don't tend to travel too far from where they're set up now. And then same thing here with this elite. I'm going to try to stick him, but instead of throwing a grenade, he just keeps kind of firing at us there, which is probably pretty smart and made it almost impossible to imagine to actually get a stick on him. Despite all that fanfare, we're able to kill him fairly easily with taking very little damage. Take out that jackal sniper. Very, very important that you do that. And as soon as I get low enough on this BR, I'm going to switch over to the carbine. So there's some enemies down here. I'm clearing them out mainly just to, you know, not skip anything, kill everything. Not necessarily essential that you do that. Not really sure where this elite has gone, but I can take out his little squad here and make dealing with him a heck of a lot easier. So I do go ahead and get rid of the battle rifle there, although certainly you could have kept with it a little bit longer. It doesn't look like it was that close to being out of ammunition, but now we'll just use the needler there. So that's everybody in this small section. So as soon as you move up past a certain point, particularly past this Banshee, you will start dealing with the other Banshees. Be sure and pick up that beam rifle, but don't use it. We're going to need it for the next section. So I try out something a little bit different here. I try to take out just one of these Banshees with the rocket launcher. So trying to take them out as they're dive bombing towards you seems very, very much more difficult. Waiting for the red reticle, or not the red reticle, but the red little indicator will help it to track. But neither of those approaches seem to work very well at all. What seems to work the best is if they're going away from you, like they can't, I guess, see you. That's when it's best to shoot them. It's the exact opposite of Combat Evolved, where you shoot them as they're coming head first, or Halo 2 and Halo Reach, where you get that lock on and it's all but a done deal unless that you're going to kill them, unless they dodge it at the very end with a Banshee trick. So for just one Banshee, I think I'm pretty good. So we just turn around and surprise him with our knowledge of this craft's capabilities. So I'm just gonna, you know, soften everybody up here. I generally like to take out as many enemies as possible with the Banshee because of the infinite ammunition and just the sheer power of its fuel rods. So I'm just kind of slowly working people down, but I'm starting to get hit, even though I'm still pretty high. I'm starting to get shot here and there by enemies that I think are kind of ducking down below. Kind of flashing back out and coming back or something like that, and it's kind of hard to get a hold of them here. And so I get a little bit too low here and get overcharged. Get overcharged again, and then I get grenaded. Fortunately, being grenaded in since Halo 1, I believe, is really not that big of a deal when you're in a vehicle, which actually kind of makes sense. But it pisses me off enough that I decide that I'm just, instead of having fun here, I'm just going to continue to headshot everything. Because in all reality, this is probably on Legendary difficulty your best bet. You do have plenty of carbine laying around, and so there's no reason to risk anything else, really. So it doesn't really matter how many grenades I throw at this elite's feet. He's not going to die until I start spamming the weapon, so that's fine. Now, one of the things you have to be worried about once you kill that elite, or the other one that's down there, is you may have some grunts try to suicide. In this case, we have grunts trying to suicide that are below us. At least one grunt is. I can hear him laughing. I can hear him cavorting. He is very happy to go on his post-great journey. And unfortunately, though, he can't path to me very well, so he's making me very nervous. So I can't really, you know, do this part as comfortably as, I guess, as much as I would want to, or as comfortably as I would want to. So just looking to see if I can find, oh, there he is. He's been literally running around down there for however long, waiting to try to get a shot at me, and not really sure again why he couldn't just come at us, but, you know, come at me, bro! So we've got a nice little battle with this dude here, but it ends predictably because instead of, you know, trying to stick him or banshee him or do something fun, we just, you know, go with the old noob combo and finish him off relatively quickly. So come out of here with a decent amount of carbine if at all possible, and certainly make sure that beam rifle has some decent charge on it. Try to get right around, well, if this door will open, try to get right around this lip here and try to get this Jackal sniper. He's the only one in the area, at least now. And then this Jackal marksman. Once you kill those two guys, things get a lot easier. Now we just need to take out this turret guy here. We'll leave nothing to chance and snipe him right in his, I don't know, his, whatever that soft, cushy thing is that's above his head. I don't want to call it a methane tank, but it's not really his face. either. So, yeah, why not take out a Jackal Major? Those dudes can be kind of annoying. Of course, it's really hard to distinguish what they're capable of from the average grunt because everybody can overcharge you now. Whatever. So I actually sniped that guy, so it just took the one carbine shot to kill that grunt. That was, you know, it wasn't a headshot. Neither worked. So this dude's invincible, so whatever. It really doesn't matter. We've got another beam rifle up there that we can get once we want to grab it. Now, normally, you might be dealing with ghosts that are active here, but since we're not, well, at least not anymore, I'm going to pick up this rocket launcher, and I'm just going to go ahead and blow these out. This is not a great time to let the enemies get in them and then take them out from range. It's much better that there not be ghosts in play, at least for the way I do this, so I go ahead and shoot them out with the rocket launcher and happen to get lucky and snag another grunt over there who was about to get in. Now, there's another grunt that mans a stationary turret that's to the right. He is not up there. I don't see him anywhere, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed forth here and go to this side. On this side, we have plenty of carbine ammunition, and we can obviously take shots at these guys from this vantage point. I'm going to go ahead and use up this beam rifle as well because, again, the other one is over there that I want to use for the next section. And so there's no reason to continue to preserve this one. We've taken out the elite that's down there. We've taken out, you know, I guess all of the infantry that's generally parked down that way. We're going to go ahead and pick up this plasma pistol, but right now we're not planning on running into that elite over there. He has a concussion rifle, so he's a piece of shit. And so the best way to take care of him is with a needler or with an overcharge headshot combo. Just get rid of him as soon as possible. I don't want to use the beam rifle on him. I want to use it on other enemies that are upcoming. I pick it up hoping that that preserves it. I thought there were only 2 grunts over there after I cleared these guys out, and I obviously killed 2 grunts just a minute ago, but these guys are here, and so kind of a little bit of a mistake on my part. So we're just going to slowly but surely burst the needler until he dies. So now I'm going to run back and grab this beam rifle here. And now it's on into this Forerunner structure. Now there's going to be a lot of grunts and then one elite that once you clear out the grunts or advance past a certain point will charge you with a sword. Except for this time. I'll let you guys speculate on what the hell happened here because I don't really know at all. Normally he comes out, he's in camo, and charges you, but instead he is shooting me with a storm rifle and throwing grenades at me, so he pretty much wastes 2 shots of my beam rifle. I mean, I'm not saying that's all his fault, but, well, 5 shots of it now, so down a beam rifle, essentially. I have no idea why he did that. Normally what I would have done if he would have charged would have been to stick him and then back up and shoot him maybe once or twice with the beam rifle and or carbine, depending upon if the stick would have totally de-shielded him. Because, to be honest with you, I may have known then, but I don't remember now. But I know the stick works as he's charging you. And you stick him and he de-shields, which gives him enough pause and you land a shot. Or another stick, for that matter, for all I know. So there's enemies on both sides here, but whichever side you go to is the enemies that you'll face, if you will. More will start to come out, and if you go to one side, it essentially despawns the other side. So we're just going to leave whatever the hell is over there alone, since I can't see any of them anymore. I generally like to go left here anyway, simply because I'm accustomed to that. The reason I'm being so careful right now and staying under the ledge and or in camo is because the elites that Phantom just dropped off will actually start taking shots at you if you stray too far. They may even try to stick you with grenades if you're within medium range. Not good, given that I've got my full attention and should have my full attention on these guys. So notice how I used the beam rifle there just to simply get rid of that shield because I was hoping to have it for a little bit more, but Now, so here I'm taking damage from the elite up there who's shooting me with the carbine, so I just move forward, and actually I never come back for that beam rifle. I'm just going to use the carbine here to take that dude out. He's a jackal sniper. He appears on both sides, but again, once you come to one side, the whole other side despawns. So you don't have to worry about the jackal sniper being on the other side. Alright, so I'm just going to pick up this dude's beam rifle and finish off these two elites. Just stay in camo, be careful. Finish that guy off in 2 shots. This elite, I don't know, warrior guy or whatever, he's not so easy. But we get him in 4 shots, the last 3 being headshots, I don't know. And now we're going to pick up the fuel rod here from this case, and we deal with these 2 hunters. These are the last enemies in the mission. They take like 47 freaking fuel rods. Oh, how far we've came from just a pistol in the back, huh? Just be careful, because with all the shimmer and light and everything, and you firing the same color bolts that he's got, you might miss it that he's actually attending to you and firing at you. And once you're done with those 2 guys, you are essentially done with the level Requiem. So I'm just going to keep punching at this door until it opens. We'll go down a long hallway, all of which is kind of cool stuff until you've seen it too many times, and then, you know, you have trouble appreciating it. But it's all really pretty, and it's interesting how this hall has more of the orange and red, as opposed to before when we saw mostly blue. And if you remember at the end of this mission, the ending cutscene, the the Promethean Force shows themselves and scares the crap out of Chief and Cortana. But we're not going to show the cutscene. I'm sure it's something you guys have seen many times, and if you do want to watch it or want me to start including cutscenes in some of these playthroughs, then please feel free, let me know, and I will make an effort to do so in future entries in this series and or in future series themselves. That being said, that is it. Requiem is finished. So, if you guys have any questions at all, any concerns, any criticisms, any praises, you just want to give a shout out to your friends, whatever it might be, please leave it in the comments section. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and please hit that notifications bell. So you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoons, evenings, mornings. This is JP3 signing out. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you very, 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 very much for watching. Goodbye.